4th down and goal from the 9. 17 seconds to go. The play clock at 3. Shotgun snap. Carr throws into traffic. Intercepted. Jermaine Pratt has the football. Coffin nails.
And for the first time in 31 years, Cincinnati, your Bengals have won a playoff game.
It's not going to be a big celebration like it was when we won the division. We took care of business. On to the next round.
Hey, that's one. I said the standard was a Super Bowl. That's one. We got more to go, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
The 31-year drought is over. The Cincinnati Bengals took down the Las Vegas Raiders in thrilling fashion last week and now find themselves one win away from playing for a berth in the Super Bowl. Welcome into a special playoff edition of Bengals Weekly. I'm Marissa Contepelli alongside Chris Frankel.
The ride continues for the Bengals. Got chills with that opening. What a week it was. Marissa and I are in the studio. Where in the world is Gary Miller? Much like the Bengals here on out, he's going to be a road warrior. Needs a little fire. Maybe go to Hattie B's, Gary. It looks a little chilly in Nashville.
You got chills with that open. I got chills for you, buddy. This is the first time since 2017 that the Bengals have played here. Not a lot of players still around that were on that roster. T. Higgins is from Tennessee. That was the year, 2017, that he left here to go to Clemson, where he eventually won a national title. Coming up, we'll talk to T about coming back home. And we'll also visit with the personal chef to several of the players and how she gets them prepared. But right now, I'll head back to the truck and back to you in the studio, Marissa.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Well, there were smiles, hugs, tears, and even cigars being lit in the stands at Paul Brown Stadium after Jermaine Pratt's interception sealed the victory for the Bengals. For a fan base that has waited 31 years, the moment the clock hit 0 was one for the ages.
Here it is. The Bengals haven't won a playoff game in 31 years. They're one play away.
There's so much to be said about how important the city is to the team and how important the team is to the city. I don't really think you can have one without the other.
4th down and goal from the 9.
The play clock at 3. Shotgun snap. Carr throws into traffic. Intercepted.
And for the first time in 31 years, Cincinnati, your Bengals have won a playoff game.
So many people have waited so long. We've gotten so close. I wasn't going to leave that field without a win. Most Bengals fans packed to the brim. I think they set an attendance record I've ever seen Paul Brown Stadium, and I don't think I saw anybody sitting down either. Everyone was on their feet their entire game. I've never seen it like that, and that's the standard we've set. The excitement that we bring to the city is something we want to do for a long time.
You know, growing up around here and seeing it and, being a part of the turnaround and then ultimately having a chance to be a part of the win. Just a really cool, memorable moment for me.
What you guys did for the city of Cincinnati today, there's not words can describe that. It's a new tradition we start today with our first playoff win. It goes to the city of Cincinnati, and we pass these things out at bars across Cincinnati tonight. And we let the fans celebrate with us. Hey, this is the first of many playoff games we win. Yes, sir! Yes, sir! We give a game ball to the fans.
He knows how important they are to this program, and he just wanted to make sure that they knew that we appreciate them and everything that they've done for us. Just to be a part of that and just to be there next to him, giving back to the city that has given so much to me. That's something I'll definitely never forget.
Him making, this coaching experience, this team his own, that's something completely new that he thought of, that he wanted to do, that was really well received by the fans and the city.
To make sure you include the fans and include their interactions with the team and our team interaction with fans. I just think that's such an important thing to grow a franchise to a championship level.
It's our seat! It's our seat! It's our house, man! Let's go!
I think this city can finally exhale and just enjoy this team for what it is.
This is how it's going to be from here on out. It's a great win for us, but this is the standard for the bare minimum every year going forward.
Characterize what you're feeling right now in this moment.
It's a great win for us, for the city, for the organization, but we expected this, so it's not going to be a big celebration like it was when we won the division. We took care of business. On to the next round.
A night where history was made became that much more memorable thanks to the fans. A record-setting crowd of over 66,000 were on hand to witness the first playoff victory of Joe Burrow's career. Here are the sights and sounds from the Bengals wildcard win over the Raiders.
It's 31 degrees, and it's been 31 years since the Bengals' last playoff win.
We're gonna put on the show. That's what we came to do. Call Chase early and often.
Call Chase, 1-800-CALL Chase.
Playoff rule the jungle, turn this thing up. Who they?
These fans, the city, they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. They've been waiting a long time, man. It's going to be fun.
I had season tickets for 40 years. It's been a long time coming, man.
65,000 plus standing and making a lot of noise as we get ready for the Bengals and Raiders.
What the deal is today? We're going to lock in. We're going to lock up. Bengals on top. By a lot.
Showtime, let's get it, showtime.
What they call the jungle in Cincinnati, and they are going wild in here.
So the Bengals win the coin toss and elect to defend.
Bengals have never won a postseason game here in Paul Brown Stadium.
McPherson is ready to go. The run up, the swing of the leg, and thwack, this playoff game is underway. Hit from behind, the ball comes out, scooped up by Ogunjobi. Rolling out to the right, still looking downfield. Burrow throws it toward the back of the end zone. Boyd leaps, he makes the catch.
This place is going to go nuts if they get a stop here.
It's hard to communicate out there right now. This place is rocking.
Fourth down and goal.
The Bengals haven't won a playoff game in 31 years. They're one play away. The season comes down to this. In his car end zone. Intercepted.
Jermaine Pratt has the football. Coffin now.
Cincinnati. Your Bengals have won a playoff game.
The drought is over.
In the world. On to round two, let's go. 31 years. Who they say gonna beat them Bengals? No.
In just his second season, he has the Bengals rolling into the second round of the playoffs. Coming up next, we sit down with QB1's parents ahead of the biggest game of Joe Burrow's career.
With over a decade of partnership, Fifth Third Bank and the Cincinnati Bengals are better together. To learn more, visit 53.com/Bengals.
Joe Burrow's rise to football stardom has brought a lot of attention to his hometown of Southeast Ohio. None more so on draft night 2020 when the living room of Robin and Jim Burrow was put on full display for everyone to see as their son was picked #1 overall. Local 12's Paula Toti traveled to Athens, Ohio to visit that fateful room where everything changed for the Bengals.
Joe Burrow is the pride of the Plains in Athens County. The stadium at his former high school has his name. Blocks away, his parents beam with pride.
Joe's grandparents.
It's the family home where Joe got the call he was drafted by the Bengals. But it looks a little different.
Our curtains were a big topic on the internet. They thought Joe should buy us new curtains.
But it's still filled with photos of older brothers and honors, including the Heisman Trophy.
The 2019 winner,
Joe Burrow.
It was such a unbelievable weekend.
Jimmy Burrow's favorite photo of his son Joe is here, hugging his mom, Robin.
Right after they announced that he would win the Heisman.
And what he said when he won it led to donations pouring into the Athens food pantry.
I'm up here for all those kids in Athens and in Athens County that go home to not a lot of food on the table.
His success hasn't been a shock to his parents, except
we thought he was going to be a basketball player. He had the build for more of a basketball player.
But Dad, who's had a career as a football coach and once played for the Green Bay Packers, soon realized his son's real gift was football. Things really started to line up at Athens High School.
He had great teammates, great coaches, and so Joe blended in.
But Joe doesn't always blend in. There are the shades and SpongeBob attire that Dad calls self-expression.
It's different than mine. She's a little more into that type fashion expression, but it's Joe being Joe.
And then there's the collection of cigars.
From his famous cigar smoking after the national championships.
Something that started with Joe's grandfather, a basketball coach who would indulge at times. And truth be told, Joe doesn't do it much. He comes by being Joe cool naturally.
In general, Joe has a very even keel personality. He's not ever too high or too low. And I think probably from both of us, he's probably seen that over the years.
And then there's this tiger who's been with them at every Bengals tailgate and will be with them in Nashville on Saturday. And there's one more game day tradition.
We both text him.
We each text him separately, just a little something. And
no response, though.
Yeah, we don't. He doesn't respond, but we know he reads them, and I'm sure that he loves those text messages from us.
Well, two important pieces in a young quarterback's life, the parents and the coaches. And the bond between a quarterback and his coach, arguably as special as a father and a son. That relationship will be put to the test when Zach Taylor and Ryan Tannehill look across the field at each other on Saturday.
The circle of NFL players and coaches is a small one, and it's not uncommon for paths to cross multiple times. But the connection shared between Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill and Bengals head coach Zach Taylor is unique.
You know, I had a tremendous 8 years being around Ryan Tannehill. I probably got a stronger library of all the throws and all the catches he made over and all the runs he had over those 8 years than maybe he does.
A great guy, a great man, and enjoyed my time with him. He helped me out so much early in my career.
In a way, their path to the NFL started together. Zach's first year as a grad assistant at Texas A&M was Tannehill's freshman year with the Aggies.
You know, he was pre-med. He used to miss practice in college because he had the pre-med classes he had to take, and so he'd miss the Wednesday practices. Misconception is that he was a receiver. He came in as a receiver. He's not. He was always a quarterback.
4 years together in College Station, then 4 more with the Miami Dolphins. Tannehill growing into a franchise quarterback, Zach rising through the ranks from assistant quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator. Though the two haven't worked together for several seasons, their 8 years together has built mutual admiration, celebrating each other's successes from a distance. Well, except for this week.
I spent a lot of time with him. Love him as a man. He's a heck of a football coach. So, really happy with his success. Just hopefully, we can come out on top this week.
Been around a lot of great moments with him, and he and his wife Lauren are tremendous people, and I've always pulled for him except for this Saturday.
Well, coming up after the break, the trip to Nashville is a homecoming for T. Higgins, while his counterpart Jamar Chase encounters a familiar face. Bengals Weekly. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our Bengals Weekly postseason playoff special. Gary Miller with you from the site of Saturday's game, Nissan Stadium in Nashville. The Bengals wideout T. Higgins grew up about 160 miles east of here. And while it's the franchise's first visit to this stadium in 4 years, T's already been in there twice as a teenager.
The first 2 times I went, is because of I won Mr. Football twice in high school. And so I was able to go there, see the stadium. It was pretty cool to see. And I got to walk out on the field, got to go in the locker rooms and all that. And, what's crazy is my name is on like the banners for Mr. Football in the stadium. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was telling the guys that, I was like, yeah, my name already in the stadium, this and that.
Even though he was a two-time Tennessee Mr. Football, the former Oak Ridge Wildcat was spindly. So what do former teammates and coaches think of the tower of power he's become as a pro?
I was skinny as all. I was a toothpick. And, you know, just me being grinded, getting a little bit bigger. I still got a lot more room to go. But, you know, like my coach was like, T, you look big out there, man. You've been working. I'm like, yeah, man, I've been trying to get big, man. You see all these other guys, they jacked up. So I'm trying to get a little something on me. So.
Well, T. Higgins has been a Bengals backer since they drafted his idol, A.J. Green, in 2011 and eventually played alongside him. The rest of his family and friends are Titans fans. He knows his mom and dad and sister will wear orange and black Saturday. Not so sure about the others, who still want tickets.
Everybody is like, yo, T, I can get a ticket to the game. Man, you know it's only 2 hours late, man. I can get a ticket. I'm like, okay, listen. I can only get so many. We're not playing home. And the tickets on Ticketmaster or StubHub, they $400. I'm like, yo, listen, if y'all want a ticket, y'all got to get it yourself.
That's a lot even for a guy on an NFL Saturday as T. Higgins gets back in his home state looking to put on a show. There are other special reunions taking place on that field Saturday, including one for a pair of Bayou Bengals. Chris Rankel has more on that, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. T. Higgins definitely going to see some familiar faces when he looks into the stands at Nissan Stadium. When Jamar Chase looks across the line of scrimmage, he'll see the face of someone he's known for a very long time. But this will be the first time that Chase and Titans cornerback Christian Fulton will be on opposite sides.
In his rookie season, almost no defensive back has had the secret key to stopping budding superstar Jamar Chase. Could the kryptonite to Chase's tear through the NFL playoffs be one of his oldest friends?
We basically grew up together, so, we keep in touch, throughout the season.
Titans cornerback Christian Fulton and Jamar Chase have played football together for a long time. High school teammates at Archbishop Rummel High School in New Orleans. Then teammates again at LSU, where they won a national championship together. Their story goes all the way back to park football as kids.
We finally got a chance to actually go against each other and that actually counts. So.
And though Saturday will be the first time the two have faced each other on opposite teams, their battles during practice in Baton Rouge helped mold each other into NFL stars.
Just, he's been having a hot year, so I just want, do my best, to make sure he don't have, no big game or whatever.
I was always trying to talk trash to Christian, trying to make sure that, we working at practice. And, that's what we did. That's how me and him, be here today.
Well, Fulton and Chase aren't alone. 7 players from the 2019 National Championship team will play in this game. 4 names on the Bengals, 3 on the Titans. Overall, LSU has the most former players in this year's NFL playoffs, with 23 players making the postseason.
Well, Tennessee's defense certainly not one Cincinnati can overlook on Saturday. The Titans gave up the 6th fewest points per game this season and feature one of the top run defenses in the league. The Bengals know the task ahead as they prepare to go up against a tough Titan defense.
They're very explosive off the ball. You can tell that they're well coached. They really understand their scheme. Their defensive front is explosive and aggressive. So we're going to have our work cut out for us.
We have to remain disciplined. That's always a challenge, especially in these road playoff environments where the noise gets really loud and everyone's got to be extra tuned in, and that's where the visual communication's got to really be at a premium as well.
I think they're pretty good up front. They got Simmons. He's a monster up in there, but that's not nothing that we've never seen before.
Burrow throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Yeah! Tyler Boyd!
They do a really good job disguising coverage and mixing their coverages. They don't let you get settled in too much on what they're doing to you on the back end. And they got a really good safety back there too. So really good team, deserving of the #1 overall seed. That's why they are where they're at. And we got our hands full. It's a good defense.
He has one of the biggest and brightest personalities on the team. So who better to hand the mic over to than CJ Uzomah? Up next, we had the tight end mic'd up against the Raiders. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. When you're looking to find the best analysis to preview Bengals vs. Titans on Saturday, the man to go to is Greg Cosell from NFL Films. The longtime NFL analyst and producer now joins Dan Horde.
Greg, before the 2020 draft, you were nice enough to give me your printed up notes about Joe Burrow, and I want to highlight 3 things that you wrote going into the draft. Number 1, consistently precise ball placement. Number 2, a quick processor of pressures and coverage. Number 3, efficient pocket movement. Clearly you thought that Joe Burrow had the chance to be an excellent NFL player. What do you think of him now and the way that he's playing?
I mean, I really liked Burrow coming out, and I think when you see a player that shows the same traits early in his NFL career that he showed in his really strong college career, I always think that's a really positive sign.
And let's specifically talk now Bengals offense versus Titans defense. This is the number 2 run defense in the NFL. They've got a great front 4. What do the Bengals need to do to have success on Saturday?
Yeah, this is going to be a challenge for this reason, and I think that's one of the key matchups in this game. The defensive profile of the Titans is 4-man pass rush, multiple coverage concepts. They don't really rush 5 an awful lot. And this is homework now during the week for the Bengals and the coaching staff. They're really good at what we call TT stunts, tackle and tackle stunts. Whether it's Simmons who goes first as the penetrator and Autry loops, or whether Autry goes first as the penetrator and Simmons loops. They're really good at that, and it's very difficult to deal with.
Let's turn to the other side of the ball. The Titans have a great running attack led by Derrick Henry. It looks like the King will be back for the first time since Halloween. What must the Bengals do on the defensive end?
You don't want to get caught short at the second level because Henry gets to the second level, and you don't want to be short bodies at the second level because then he's going to get to the third level, and then you have a problem. So I'm really curious to see what they do. I think you need the bigger bodies simply to tackle Henry. I think you're going to see more of the 5-2 front, bring a safety down, because you need a lot of bodies around Derrick Henry because we know Henry can take it to the house, but he's also the master of making a 3-yard gain into a 7-yard gain, and then it's 2nd and 3, and you don't want to be in that situation all game.
Greg, there's nobody better at studying the tape and making a complicated game a little bit easier for the rest of us to understand, so I really appreciate your time, and keep up the great work.
Dan, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Is it the gritty icky or the icky gritty? Well, whatever you would like to call the touchdown celebration by C.J. Uzomah last Saturday, it was just one moment during a night the team will remember forever. We now head down to field level because C.J. Uzomah was mic'd up against the Raiders.
Let's go, Uno. Let's go, Uno. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes, sir. Come on. Let's get it. Just letting you know I'm mic'd up. I don't know.
I know you mic'd up.
Okay, good. I'm in the pocket like Burrow. Shooter! Hey, let's have a good one, huh?
Shooter!
Let's go. Let's go be great. Put on the show. It's time.
Drops back to throw. Gets away from Sam Hubbard. Fires toward the sideline. Broken up.
Yeah, baby! Let's go! Oh my God. That route. That route.
Drops back, guns it into the end zone, into a thicket where it's caught for the touchdown!
Hey, hey, hey!
Woo! Drops back 7 steps, hit from behind, the ball comes out!
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Hey!
Carr back to throw from the goal line.
Finish! Yeah!
Yes,
sir! Burrow firing for Chase. He bobbles and catches.
I mean, we'll take that. Let's get her in the end zone, baby. Let's get her in the end zone. Let's get it, franchise.
Guns it downfield, caught over the middle by C.J. Uzomah.
That was a dime on that Aggie. Oh, it's like, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
out to the right, still looking downfield. Burrow throws it toward the back of the end zone. Boyd leaps. He makes the catch.
Hey! Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey!
Aggie, baby! Lobs it downfield for Renfro. Over the shoulder catch.
No! Incomplete! Incomplete! No, sir! No! No!
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass.
That's huge, defense. That's huge. That's huge. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now we got 66,000 in here. We got to make some noise, baby.
Carr with a deep drop. In trouble. Sacked by B.J. Hill.
That's big time. That's big time. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
4th down and goal from the 9. 17 seconds to go. Carr throws into traffic. Intercepted. Jermaine Pratt has the football. Coffin nails. And after 31 years, the drought is over.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Hell of a job, buddy. Hell of a job. Let's go! Let's go!
There were key plays made on both sides of the ball last week. And up next, we bring in Dave Lapham to break it all down.
Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson were better together on Wild Card Saturday against the Raiders. Two of the anchors in the middle of the defense, Pratt and Wilson were locked in as the duo suited up for their first career playoff game.
Carr throws into traffic. Intercepted. Jermaine Pratt has the football. Coffin nails.
Jermaine, I thought that was very fitting because he's been a guy who's been all about taking the ball away all season. He's done it multiple times. He's always a guy when we watch the tape, he's trying to punch the ball out, rake it out, whatever he's got to do.
Pratt and Wilson have been ball hawks all season long, as the game-winning INT by Pratt is the combined 9th turnover the pair has forced on the year. The linebackers also had it locked down against the run, combining for 21 tackles, with Wilson recording a game-high 9 solo tackles. Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson are better together. Brought to you by Fifth Third Bank.
When you look at the Titans offense, they have so many big names. Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill. But statistically, the Titans in the middle of the pack in most NFL offensive categories. Of course, that's because they haven't had Derrick Henry. They'll probably get him back for this game. And stopping the King will be a top priority of this Bengals stout defense.
They're a product of their coach. Coach Vrabel's a good coach. He's a great player in this league for a long time. He's a tough guy. Derrick, when he's in there, he has the element of he's a huge back, gets downhill. He's a rushing champion. He's a great player.
He just wears on you. It might seem easy the first, second quarter, but towards that second half, just constantly tackling him, and it definitely wears down on you, and that's what they thrive off of, just constantly running the football, trying to wear you down, and just make it difficult for defense to tackle him in the fourth quarter.
He's one of the best keeper quarterbacks in the league. I've always thought that for the last 10 years now. When he's on the perimeter on these nakeds, there were years he went 28 to 29 in the keeper game. So again, he's a tremendous quarterback. It's no surprise. He's helped that team get into the position they've been in these last couple years.
They run a lot of play action passes, and rightfully so, based on their run game. That helps them open up some things, and so we just gotta do our best against the run, and then we believe in our game plan will help against pass.
When the offense complements the defense and vice versa, it's easy to see how the Bengals set themselves up to beat the Raiders. Let's send it over to Dave Lapham to break down some key plays from the thrilling wild card win last Saturday.
In a one-score game, there are so many plays that if any one of them turned out differently, the outcome of the game might have been different.
2nd and 10 from the 35. Carr with a deep drop. In trouble. Sacked by B.J. Hill.
In this football game against the Raiders, no exception to that rule. Bengals made plays that kept the football game, the outcome of the football game, on their side. Let's take a look at a few of them. This was one of the takeaways that the Bengals had in this football game that was huge. The Bengals, 2 takeaways, no giveaways. Watch Hendrickson come off the edge here. He's working against the tight end, Moreau. That's a bad matchup. Ooh, man, he turns his shoulder pads to the sideline. Here comes Hendrickson, shortens the edge. Ogunjobi's gonna stay after it as well. Strip sack, Ogunjobi, pick, almost score. Let's take a look at this. C.J. Uzomah, great game by C.J. Uzomah. Cover 2. The safeties are gonna split. Linebacker has C.J. Uzomah one-on-one. And Joe Burrow says, I like this matchup. I see cover 2. I got a linebacker on my tight end. I trust my tight end. What a throw he makes right here. C.J. Uzomah catches that seed. Watch Jesse Bates on this play. Jesse Bates, good protection. He has a pretty good pocket. Hunter Renfrow is gonna run a route toward the sideline. Jesse Bates in hot pursuit here. He turns to look at the quarterback to find the football. Great throw. Can't put it in a better spot. Don't give up on the play. Jesse Bates punches it out of there. Huge play. Would have been a 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Jesse Bates says, nah, baby, nah. Compressed field for the Las Vegas Raiders to defend. Watch what they do at the snap of the football here. They're rushing 3. He's gonna drop out. They're gonna drop 8 into coverage. He's gonna step up in the pocket and buy time. Create a play, create space. It gets close to the sideline. He sees the defender pressing Tyler Boyd to the back corner of the end zone. Tyler Boyd and Joe Burrow get on the same page. Joe Burrow's gonna throw the ball inside. Tyler Boyd's gonna make the adjustment to the football. How many times have we seen Joe Burrow create a play with Jamar Chase? A lot of times, the play they create is better than the play that was called. Just like that touchdown pass, Tyler Boyd, Joe Burrow, thinking the same things, on the same page. That's what wins you football games. The Bengals are advancing in the playoffs as a result.
After the break, we look inside the numbers of the Bengals and the Titans. Marissa's going to count it all down with this week's Conapelli's Countdown. Bengals Weekly coming right back.
Welcome back to this playoff edition of Bengals Weekly. We all know how important it is to protect the football. So often a turnover can make or break a game, or as we've seen, can change the momentum instantly. The Bengals have won 4 of their last 5 games, and a key reason why has been the team's ability to take care of the ball.
Joe Burrow's last interception came back in Week 13, as he has gone 5 straight games without a turnover. His 180 pass attempts without an INT is the 4th longest in team history, and is the 2nd longest streak in the NFL this season, just behind Aaron Rodgers. On the season, Burrow and the Bengals are 10-1 when the margin is even or when they win the turnover battle. And in the last decade, teams that have won the turnover battle in the postseason have a .744 winning percentage. The Bengals defense has been stingy to start the second half. Cincinnati has not allowed a single third quarter point in their last 4 games. And since the bye, teams have only scored 10 points in the third quarter on the Bengals. On the season, Cincinnati has outscored opponents 102-40 in the third quarter, as the 40 third quarter points allowed on the season is second fewest in the league. Saturday will be the 77th meeting between these two franchises, as the Bengals used to play the Titans twice a year in the AFC Central when they were the Houston Oilers. And in recent history, well, the Bengals have had the Titans' number, having won 5 of the last 7 meetings, including Week 7 of last season when the Bengals beat the Titans in Cincinnati. Jesse Bates picked off Ryan Tannehill, and Logan Wilson recorded his first career sack in the 31-20 win. Now, the Bengals defense will be challenged with slowing down Derrick Henry on Saturday, but a looming question is how much will the King play? Henry has been out since Week 8 with a foot injury, and despite missing the last 10 weeks of the regular season, he still finished 9th in rushing yardage. Henry logged a season-high 182 yards in Week 2 and has recorded 3 games this season with 3 rushing touchdowns. And as the Bengals hit the road for the remainder of the playoffs, it's a position they've been successful in this season. Cincinnati won 5 road games this year, outscoring opponents 146-61 in those contests. And as the Bengals look to punch their ticket to the AFC Championship game, all-time Cincinnati holds a .667 winning percentage in the second round of the playoffs.
Well, the Bengals are 6-9 against Tennessee since the Oilers became the Titans, but they've won 6 of the last 10, including last year's upset win at Paul Brown Stadium. Dan Hort, Dave Lapham, and Jeff Hobson give their takes on what it's going to take to get a 7th win against the Titans.
The Bengals are 1 win away from making it to the AFC Championship game, but to get there, they've got to beat the Titans in Tennessee. And in this Who Day conversation, we are going to give you 3 keys to pulling out this victory. Butch, you go first.
Well, they got to stop the run. They are probably going to get King Henry. King Henry abdicated for about 8 weeks with an injury, but he's a tough guy. They've been gearing him up for this matchup. So Derrick Henry, the 2-time NFL rushing champion, tough week for the Bengals to be banged up in the inside. They lose Larry Ogunjobi. They don't have Mike Daniels. They're going to have to get something from their 4th-round pick, Tyler Shelvin, in the middle there. He's going to have to play, I would think, or they're going to go outside the building. But in order to control the Titans, even without Derrick Henry, they've still run the ball more than they've passed it, and they're still averaging 4.4 yards per carry, even without the King. So Joe Burrow, the prince of the playoffs, they must first overthrow the King.
I like that. Lap, how about you?
Well, if they've got the king, the queen, and the whole kingdom, it doesn't matter if they turn it over. Turnover is going to be the biggest factor. Regular season, it's a big deal. Postseason, enormous, massive. You can't give extra possessions to the opponent. I don't care who the opponent is. Turnovers are going to be massive. In that 3-game stretch, 13 giveaways, no takeaways. Minus 13, lose 3 football games. They end up minus 3 on the season. They're 20th, tied for 20th in the National Football League. Bengals won their first playoff game. One big reason why? +2. Got a sack, strip, fumble. Got an interception. Playoff P. Got the big pick. So that's huge.
My key is protecting Joey Franchise. Last week, the Raiders had 2 great pass rushers, and the Bengals did a nice job of blocking them. This week, the Titans have 4 great pass rushers. Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, and Danico Autry all rank in the top 20 in the NFL in total pressures. And Bud Dupree has battled injuries this year, but he's healthy now. In his last 5 games, Joe Burrow has thrown 13 touchdown passes, no interceptions, passer rating of 129.9. We know if the Bengals give Joey B time, he can slice and dice up any defense in the NFL. Stop the run. Don't turn it over. Protect Joey Franchise. 3 keys to victory on Saturday in Nashville.
Well, both the Bengals and Titans enter the divisional round relatively healthy, but there were a few notable moves on the injury front this week. Let's take a closer look as it's now time for this week's TriHealth Sideline Report.
The Bengals will be without Larry Ogunjobi as the defensive tackle was placed on IR this week, ending his season with a foot injury. But the good news on the injury front for the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson, who left Saturday's game against the Raiders with a concussion, cleared protocol and is expected to be full go against the Titans. And for Tennessee, we expect to see Derrick Henry back in action. Henry has missed the last 9 games with a foot injury, but was designated to return from IR on January 4th. And something to keep an eye on is Titans corner Jack Rabbit Jenkins. Jenkins appeared on the injury report this week with an ankle injury, though he did practice in full on Thursday and does not have an injury designation for Saturday's game. Introducing Ultimate Bengals, the free-to-play next-level fantasy football game. Download now from the App Store and Google Play.
Well, coming up next here on Bengals Weekly, we'll introduce you to Chef Kimberly, who helps fuel the Bengals.
Come out to Kitty's Sports Grill this Wednesday, January 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. to join Dan Hort and Dave Lapham for the Bengals Game Plan radio show live, presented by Bud Light. This one's for the fans. Visit Bengals.com/gameplan for a list of locations each week.
Welcome back to our Bengals Weekly playoff special. Gary Miller just outside Nissan Stadium in Nashville. The Bengals want to play as many extra games as possible this postseason. 4 would be ideal. Unlike recent seasons, the chef to the pros, Chef Kimberly, has had extra games and meals to prepare for. The wild card, this divisional playoff game, hopefully an AFC championship, and Super Bowl dishes. We dropped in on her kitchen to compare meal plans to game plans.
This is like a puzzle. You know, people don't realize that it's not easy, and you have to think about it. It's a thoughtful process.
The puzzle solver is Chef Kimberly, personal chef to a growing number of Bengals players.
Well, what I'm trying to do, like with this right here, I'm trying to give them a little bit more protein and a little bit more carbs.
She gets to her kitchen at 6 in the morning to set her board and then go about all the chopping and preparation with her staff.
Because the meal before practice is completely different than the meal after practice. The meal before practice has a little more carbs, a little less protein. The meal after practice is like a recovery meal. So it's a lot of protein, a little bit of carbs, and lots of vegetables.
Chef Kim gets the likes of Sam Hubbard, DJ Reader, T. Higgins, and Jesse Bates to eat their vegetables because they trust her. Some of the players have been with Chef Kim for years. Not all her prep is science and nutrition, though.
I also watch the game, and I also watch their bodies. I'm like, that one needs this one needs that. So I adhere to it that way. So, I mean, it's really personal. So that's what I do.
So when Chef Kim watches the game and sees them doing well, does she feel part of this run to the playoffs?
Oh, God, yes. Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, I'm taking all this in. This is good. This is the good stuff. You know, this is what we've been working for.
Chef Kim sounded an awful lot like Joe Burrow, who's not a client yet, when she said of having extra games to prepare for. This is only the beginning. Let's check out some more ingredients that could lead to another game next week, heading back to the warm studio with Chris and Marissa.
Thanks, Gary. We're going to go through our wall here of keys, Marissa, and our first one right here. It sounds a little misleading. Crown the king. That doesn't mean welcome back Derrick Henry, give him 300 yards.
Absolutely not. It's making sure Derrick Henry, the king, doesn't take his crown. The Bengals have to be aware he's such a physical and tough runner. You got to contain him as soon as they can. Cannot let him get to the second or the third level on Saturday.
127 yards in the win at Paul Brown Stadium last year, but didn't kill them with the big runs. Moving on here, big game Burrow. This is really the key. If they want to keep playing, he's got to continue to perform.
Absolutely. Joe Burrow seems like he was made for moments like this. Anytime there's a big stage moment, he absolutely thrives. And you look back what he did at LSU in that national championship run. You look at the Bengals this season, the game against Baltimore, Kansas City, Las Vegas. Burrow is playing his best ball when it matters. Last 5 games, over a 100 passer rating.
Joe Cool got to keep his cool. Don't turn the ball over. And our final one right here, this is the key of the rest of the season. Road Warriors, they're done at Paul Brown Stadium, but they've been good on the road this year.
They really have, Chris. When you take out Week 18 against Cleveland when the starters didn't play, they were 5-2 on the road, and 2 kind of fluke losses when you look at Chicago and then the New York Jets, which should have been 2 winnable games. So they could have had even 2 more road wins under their belt so far. The defense has played really strong on the road. I expect that to continue. Offense, though, they're averaging over 25 points in road games.
And the Titans, you would expect them to play well at Nissan Stadium. Well, 3 of their 5 losses this season have come at home. Maybe the Bengals can hand them one more, Gary.
Hey, if they score those 25 points, they've only lost once all season when they do that, so that's a good key, too. Now, if they do all those things, they'll be headed to the AFC Championship game, which they haven't been to since 1988, and have only been there twice, but both times they got there, they made it to the Super Bowl. Now, if you're not able to join us and come down here to Nashville to see the game in person, don't worry. As usual, it's on your home of the Bengals, Local 12. We've got it for you with the NFL Today starting at 3:30, and then the game for you at 4:30 on Saturday. That leads up to Ian Eagle and Trent Green with the call on CBS on the network. So from Nashville, it is chilly, but it is very exciting to be here, and looking forward to all the Stripes fans being down here to join us, Chris and Marissa.
Gary, you are a trooper for staying out there. Chris, one more night until we finally get Bengals Titans in the divisional round, and hopefully we're right back here in the studio next week.
And if we are, of course, Local 12 and the Bengals will have you covered. Just take this in fact, folks. 8 teams are still playing football. Your Bengals are one of them. For Gary Miller, she's Marissa Contabelli. I'm Chris Rankel. Have a great night, everybody.
Bengals Weekly was brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.